Well, hello. I am Penny Nelson, Providence Soapery 62959, and this is Soap School. We're getting started. It is Thursday, August 30th, and it takes about 4 hours to make a batch of hot processed soap, in my opinion. So I am just getting started at about 4 minutes after 4 we started. And I thought that I would start out with a recipe for you so you get to the good stuff right away. The thing that I've noticed about the soaping community is most people are very willing to share. Today I am making the original bubbly soap. So in my original bubbly soap I have what's called the Trinity of oils. So I have the recipe right before me, and I've been making soap since April of 2015, so a little over 2 years. In my recipe we have about 41% coconut oil, about 30% olive oil, about 26% palm oil, and we have 2.5% stearic acid. In hot processed soap, you saponify the whole amount, and that's what I have a crock pot right here that I'm going to show you. You saponify the whole amount of soap, and then you add additional oils for your superfats. For my superfats, I add, now I'm doing an 80-ounce batch, so I have 80 ounces of oils. So if you want to make your own recipe, you would need to go to SoapCal and create your own recipe. It's very easy. It's not, I can do it, so it's not that hard. So for 80 ounces of soap, the superfats that I use are 75 grams of honey, 70 grams of coconut oil, 62 grams of virgin olive oil, 29 grams of glycerin. And when you get down to 160 degrees, you add 4 tablespoons of orange essential oil. That's my recipe. So you would need to perfect your own recipe. I guess if you came to class, which I don't have any students that I know of just yet that have arrived, so the attendance is pretty low, being as it's only me attending today. Now normally I only have about 30 minutes of space on my phone that I'm pointing at. So I'm going to be using the on-off method. I would like to thank you for joining me. If you're joining me for the whole time, I will try to slow down and share as much information as I can about hot process lye soap making. I have noticed with everything, you have 3 steps, okay? To anything. Your first step is your setup. So you have your preparation and your setup for the event. I've included that in my 4 hours. I probably have not included an extra 30 minutes of talking. So I might need to add that in my preparation time. So your first step is your setup, which is what we're doing now. I've already given you the good part. You have the recipe. So you need tools. Every job has tools. If you have the right tools for the job, it really helps. You can do the job with the wrong tools, but it usually takes more time and is not as convenient. So having the right tools really helps. So you need to assemble your tools. The second part of the job is the actual job, is the actual event of making soap. The soap itself cooks for 2 hours in the crock pot. Then it cools for about 45 minutes-ish. And you have to get the soap down to 160 degrees. In my opinion, in my trainer's opinion, and mostly I learned by YouTube videos. My trainer was Kimberly McNutt with Essential Soap. She has all the recipes posted on her website. Head right on over there and check out all her exact recipes. That's where I based my recipes from, and that would be essentialsoap.com or kimberlymcnutt.com, something like that. Check it all out. I'm sure you can find her. That's how I learned, was watching her, I call them amateur real-time videos. I have a big shout out and a thank you to lots of people for helping me to get where I am with soap making, and I hope that you can learn something today. The third part of any job, which is the part I always forget, is the cleanup. The cleanup and putting everything back away and getting back to ground zero, back to normal, back to what you started with. Today, mostly I'm starting with a clean kitchen. I'm mostly all that. I think you get the idea though. You have to do your cleanup. One of the problems I had in life was forever, I would do set up event, set up event, set up event, set up event, no cleanup. After a while, the cleanup aspect starts screaming and you have no other time to do anything but cleanup. So with that, a shout out to Fly Lady, because I have been following along with Fly Lady's recommendations, which is Marla Silly. And she does real-time videos every day. They're very helpful, and she helps those of us who are perfectionists and procrastinators. That would be me. I'm a messy, but I'm working my way out. All right, so that should get you started. So I'm going to gather some of my equipment and my tools. You should be able to hear me because I'm loud. I make my soap in the soapery on my stove. So I start by covering my stove with old towels. And I will need my timer. I do use my timer and my clock. And this is my favorite, an old towel. My husband calls me Penny the Woo. Penny the Woo. I think I want to make something out of this, but I never do. Not yet, anyway. All right, I think I'm going to put you on pause and gather some materials. Okay, well, this is the part of the video that I remind you that you are an adult and you are always responsible for yourself. And you need to do your own research, and I'm not liable, okay? This is all in my opinion, disclaimer, disclaimer. To make soap, hot process or cold process, which I do not do, you have to use lye. With lye, you need gloves and eye protection and face protection, etc., okay? So you be responsible for yourself, do your own studying. I'm not responsible for you. And if you ever get fan mail, I don't recommend reading it. Okay, Richard's going to come in, and this is the part in the 2-year journey where I move from small containers of coconut oil, this is a 30-ounce container, to this 35-gallon, no, it's not a 35-gallon, it's a 5-gallon bucket, and Richard's going to have to open it for me. I'm very excited. I got this coconut oil from Bulk Apothecary. Did I say it right? I also over there is my palm oil. I bought 50 pounds of it a while ago, and that's how I store it. So Richard's going to come and open that for us, and I'm going to keep on with my working here. Okay, so my kind husband is going to open this for me. Okay, your ingredients are a big part of your expense. So since actually because I received a gift, I was able to buy this 35-pound bucket. And it is a little bit cheaper per ounce, and I use coconut oil in all of my soaps. But it's quite an expense at the beginning and cost of doing business. So the main reason why I do soap making is to make money for missionaries. It's really just a hobby on fertilizer. Okay. Tab. There's a tab. I figured it would be penny proof. That's what I thought. That's why we need the Richard power. Got the pliers.
There it is.
Oh no, you gotta open the rest of it too, please.
Mm-hmm. Don't. Hold on.
So, coconut oils, there's two kinds. I've never seen the other kind.
Okay, there you go.
Thank
All right.
you. So we'll let you look in the bucket here. Thank you, baby. Let's see if I can move it. When it's 76 degrees, it's liquid. Bye, baby. Josiah is going to an FFA kickoff today. And that's where Richard's taking him. Richard and I are both an FFA alumni. Okay, so I've assembled my ingredients, and what I am going to do first is measure out my water for my lye water. And you need a digital scale, preferable to have one that does not turn off or the battery does not die all the time. And a nice handy trick is to keep it in a plastic bag. So that's what I do. And I've done this process before on other videos. So you want to use separate equipment that is only for soap making. Once lye touches it, you don't want to use it for anything else. For my batch of soap today, I'm going to need 861 grams of lye. No. Of water, distilled water, and you want to use distilled water. 862 grams of distilled water, 355 grams of lye. And I do that first so that because the lye, it's caustic, it's going to heat up to over 200 degrees. I am going to be melting my oils because I have hard oils. I have coconut oil, which you see here, and this is how I do it. I take the big and put it in a sanitized smaller shoe bucket for storage, okay? Palm oil and coconut oil, there's harder oils, but it's not liquidy. So this is an oil lesson. So the reason why I did it my batches, previously I would buy all my stuff at Walmart except for palm oil. You cannot hardly buy palm oil anywhere, actually. Your other option aside from palm oil to have a hard bar is, I like to call it manteca, but it's also called lard. I don't know, to me that's what's hard to tell where the information comes from. I've done some research. There's quite a bit of controversy about palm oil and everything like that. I kind of think lard's gross myself. And it costs the pig his life. I think trees are replaceable, but that's my opinion. Anyways, I like the smell better too. But I have used lard because you can buy lard at Walmart. So instead of having palm oil, which is very expensive and you have to make an investment to get your palm oil. And the other ingredients you can just buy at Walmart. So if you're starting small, you might have to use lard. And then of course the bigger you buy, that's the cost of doing business. That's another thing. And that's why when I started doing this, so in our country, America, which is where I'm from Marion, Illinois, 62959, we have money, allegedly, the privileged 1% probably, money and no time. Other countries, time and no money. No way to get money. Okay, so this is good for that. So what I'm going to do, that's what I was going to show you this too. When I bought my palm oil last year, so I'm going to have to replace this. So I've been, reusing this, but today I melted my palm oil so I can put it in my recipe, and then I'm going to wash this and sanitize it and refill it with palm oil. Because I will be continuing to use palm oil and not manteca because that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. I think Manteca is quite a bit cheaper too. So what you do is you measure your water, and what I do is I measure my lye in a disposable cup, okay? I mix them together outside. Do your own research. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's danger, Will Robinson. It is, oh no, it's backwards. I hate that when it does that. I'm going to turn you off. So that means I thought I was recording and it didn't. So it's backwards. So let me show you what I did. Yeah, see, it's recording. I've done this before too. This is a problem with the on-off method. So when I just told you everything, it wasn't recording. And then when I thought it was off, it was recording. But I can't change it. So I just put the coconut oil from the big bucket to the smaller bucket. And I probably told you about lye safety. I'm going to be doing the lye and water because it heats up. Oh, so I will have to be watching this. This is a problem with amateur videos. Who knows what else I shared with you? We'll pause and then we'll start over. So when you're doing an amateur video on-off method, make sure that it's running when you think it is and it's off when you think it is. Isn't that funny? I just went into the other room to get some more tools that I need, which is a thermometer. You've got to have digital thermometer. And I go into the other room and forget why I went in there. And tools just for soap making. Let's make sure. And then what I do, that's what you can hang out for this. I use a Post-it so I remember what I'm doing, especially if I'm doing 2 batches of how much water and how much lye I need. And of course when I go do that it turns off, so I get to do it again. So first you move from ounces to grams. I do, because it's better math. And everybody knows that Penny needs to have better math. Because it's math. Okay, it always helps when the scale cooperates. It switches to grams, which it's not doing. There we go. You're going to tear your scale, which means zero it out. And then I was going to tell you, we were driving home. Josiah just turned 15 yesterday. And I thought, well, nobody's going to come to my soap making class, so I could go to the FFA kickoff. And Josiah says, oh, you don't need to. Okay, so 862. So he's breaking away from his mama. He didn't want me to go. He said he wasn't going to say it that way. 800. So I'm here. And Richard took him. A guy's got to teach a boy to be a man. Mamas can't do that. Okay, 862. And then I have it written down 355 lye in here. Lye, no lying, lye. And I'm going to do that outside. So I have a lye, whip it good, that I put in there. And when I put the lye, the sodium, and I've got this, it says Crafter's Choice. The sodium, which I would be a way better affiliate if I knew what I was talking about so I could properly promote these things. Sodium hydroxide is lye, okay? And you can see it's in a plastic bag, so you need to be safe. This is my disclaimer in case that part didn't get in there. You're responsible for your own stuff and your own skin. If you get lye on your skin, vinegar is what you need. You would not want to get lye in your eye. That's why you wear safety glasses and other things. So I'm going to do the lye water part outside so it can be cooling down a little, and then you can join me for the measuring of the oils. Okay, I've got you over here. I'm doing my oils, and I like to use 2 containers that are the same. I've got my palm oil in my container, and I melt it down a little bit. That's how I always do it. When you're doing hot process soap, your temperature difference is not that much of a big deal. But if you get it too hot, you may have a volcano. That's a problem. Okay, now I'm gonna do my olive oil. For your olive oil, you want to use the pomace, which I get from Sam's, okay? You're cooking it anyway, so you want to use your extra virgin olive oil in your superfats, not in your recipe. I mean, you can, but it would be more expensive for no reason, in my opinion. So once again, I have my note method. Okay, and I'm still on 0, thank you, Lord. So for my olive oil, I have a Hello Kitty thing. Do you see my toaster? 680. 680. You'll have to check out some of our Rainbow Unicorn Party thing. That was a lot of fun for Jada's 40th birthday. I just turned 50 in April. Of course, you're invited. We have April and August bashes. Should mark your calendar now. Okay, palm oil not melted. Okay, so when I put it in my crock pot, in the crock pot, I'm going to turn it on low. No, warm to get it started. Still got to measure my coconut oil. And I need to hurry because it's 5:10 and it's going to cook for 2.5 hours. So that's going to run me past my bedtime at 9 p.m. if I do not stay on the job and focus on one thing at a time. So I'll start by focusing on melting my coconut oil. This is the last little bit I have left, and then what I had done was made it convenient so that I had 30 ounces and I didn't have to measure. But now I will be measuring. Can do the stearic acid. Stearic acid, that's what I did some research on it, and you'll have to do your own research. It makes for a harder bar. It also, my trainer, Kimberly McNutt, who I learned on YouTube, uses stearic acid. She has some very old videos that show the difference. I get my stearic acid from Duda Diesel. You don't need much. But you can play around with it in your recipe. So make sure, it's always best to double check everything, especially if you're me. Okay, I usually put that in first so I don't forget. But And now I have not forgotten. One time I made a video and I couldn't remember what I did. I can't stop this and rewind it if I'm doing the on-off method. There's my Hello Kitty clip. Thank you, Noah. Did I put everything back? Yeah, that works. Okay, so now, make sure you can see. I'm gonna do my coconut oil in here, both. First in, first out, you know. Boy, I saw my friend Stacia's video today. She did an awesome one. It's on Facebook. I wish I could share it. She did a inner dialogue about dieting. And it was like a Lord of the Rings thing. I'm not telling it very well anyways. You should watch that on Stacia's Facebook. Okay, so I'm on 0. So for coconut oil, I know I need a lot. So I'm going to need to use some of the other new source that I bought, my 35-pound bucket. I'm so excited. It takes my cost of coconut oil down. Coconut oil is some people like the I like the one that doesn't smell like coconut oil. So that's called, I don't know what it's called. It's called refined, maybe. Okay, so I got 306 out of that grams, but I need 935. Since I can't remember anything for 2 seconds, I have it written down here. So I filled up my coconut it turned off. That's not handy. So I'm going to turn you off and figure that part out. So this is why I actually have 2 of the same thing. So now, I think I can remember it was 306, but see, I poured my palm oil into the crock pot. So now I have an empty container. So now I can zero out my scale. Okay, and add my coconut oil to here with my, because I need to get 935 grams of coconut oil. Okay, I don't want to cross-contaminate here. Okay, 500 and, so I still need more. Oh, I'm too heavy. Darn it. Take this life and lay it down. And I will need some for my superfats. So that's going to be over here. I'm going to put you on pause so I can move you over. Okay, so I've got all my oils in there. And I've got my cool new... Okay. So let's see what the temperature of the oils are in here. About 106. Close enough for me. Now my lye water. $171, 169. Okay, so that's why it gets really hot. Okay, but fortunately for Penny, this is not an exact science, so I can do that. Now the only thing you'd have to worry about is volcanoing, which mine, it did one time. You'd stir it down. Okay, so you have to have an immersion stick blender. You have to have a scale to do this. I give it a little stir with the stearic acid in it. Okay, and I have the towel so I can just plop it down on here, okay? Some people do it different ways. You want to make sure in your pitcher that you have stirred so all of your lye water, your lye is mixed into your, it's not a big chunk down here. Sometimes it makes that like a lye chunk down there, and then you pour it in and your lye is still in there, but your mixture's in there. Now this is all chemically hot, so you have to be careful, okay? So I'll clean that up later. Okay, then, let me make sure you can see. You're going to take this to a trace, okay? And this is how soap is made. It chemically becomes a different thing. It binds together and makes a different thing. So and while you're doing this, it's chemical hot, so you do not want to spill it on yourself. So don't lift up your blender, your immersion stick blender. Now my goal is completion. I don't do like specialty stuff. Maybe one day I will, but today is not that day. I just want a complete bar of soap that I can tell you that is far superior to supermarket mass-produced soaps. There's a lot of ways that you can be creative with soap creation. But since I am a perfectionist and my goal is finished, the label making is difficult for me. You have to have your labels in there, and I have to redo it so that I have the correct ingredients. Like if I make any changes, I would have to reflect that on my label. I do have it color coded now. Okay, do you see how it's getting thick here? Okay, that's trace. When you're doing hot process, do you see that? When you're doing hot process, I've heard the rumor is, I'm sorry, I'm jostling you all around. The rumor is a little more stirring is better. Okay? And when it cooks, that's what's gonna force the saponification. When you do cold process soap, it's I'm gonna need to stir it a little more, I think. It saponifies in time, and then you have to wait for about 6 weeks. The mumsy doesn't like waiting. Oh, does anybody like waiting? I guess it might be worth it for all that cool swirls and everything. It'd be more planning. That'd be step 1. I like for it to be totally saponified, and I don't have to worry about the temperature. I think when you do cold process, you need to have the lye water and the oils like 10 degrees apart. That's what I think, but you'd have to do your own research. I'm not entirely sure. You could, do this. I've seen people do it that you can do it in an oven. You can do it over a fire. You could do it a lot of ways. Okay, so what I do to clean up my stuff is I use the wipe it off napkin method. Because you have to clean your stick blender. And I'm going to pause you. So what I'm going to do is mark the time. The time is 5:26. So now it cooks for 2 hours, okay? So I'll bring you back at different points so you can see it. I'm hoping to get the whole process today. So just a little bit more on the napkin method is because all of this is hot, chemical hot. So I just unplug it, wipe it off with napkins, and throw my napkins away. That's how I do it. And then rinse and dry and put away my lye bucket also. If you have any information on how you take care of your chemically hot stuff, why don't you make a comment? you also want to scrape all of that soap down into the pot, because all that stuff on the side is just going to get overcooked. So you want to scrape it down and get it in there so it cooks evenly. It should all be down. Okay, and this is exactly why you don't leave your soap, okay? It is 5:52, and I wanted to show you what's going on with my soap. Okay. It doesn't normally do that. So this is close to where you'd need to watch it, because if it got hotter and it kept going, you need to stir it down. So I'm just going to set a timer for 10 minutes. Normally I don't do anything for an hour, which would be 6:26. We're still a half an hour away. So I just wanted to show you that. Okay, well this is unusual, so I'm feeling like I'm going to go ahead and stir it. It hasn't been 10 minutes and I've been putzing around in putting away stuff and cleaning up, doing my step 3. But I've never had to do this before, so I'm thinking the best thing to do is stir it down. Oh, and I have breaking all my rules. I got all my fans on in here. See it. I've got these red gloves on, and that's not the best thing for the on-off method. Pink, they're pink. Maybe it's cooking fast today, I don't know. So I'm in my, used to be a cat room, and now it's a soap room, organizing, and when I came back, it was doing this. And that's why you have to be here for the whole process. You do have some free time, but you really can't leave, because this is still allegedly, potentially, chemically hot. And so if I leave it and it overflows on my stove, that's going to be a big mess. It's going to be chemically hot. It's going to waste all my ingredients. So you just, you know, you can't go to the store. That's all there is to it. I'm going to have Richard go to the store, because I do not have enough honey for my recipe. And this is the original bubbly that I make for my friend Jada, whose 40th birthday party we just had. And this soap is especially nourishing, and it's good for shaving your legs and your armpits, and I guess probably not your face. The facial hair is different than body hair. But if you wanted to use a product that was let's see, without making any claims, there's nothing that's hard to say in here except for lie. You might want to try this. So I'm going to put you on pause again, and then we'll come back. This is the part where I make sure that I'm turning you off. Okay, it is Thursday, so we have grandkids. Okay, Jackson, can you tell me what the 27th was? Look at me, man.
The August.
August 27th was what? Your birthday. And so you got your birthday present, and what's your name?
Jabon.
Jabon.
No, you're not opening that.
And what's your name?
Papa.
All right. So Papa's helping with locomotive, because Jackson got his gift, which I had ready on time. So he's pretty excited about that. All right, so I'm going to show you the soap that's on 2 hours. Okay, now we're at, I was wrong, we're 1 hour into the cook. 1 hour into the cook. And so I am going to stir it down.